And then you're like, why aren't these people talking to each other? Like, well, they don't understand each other. In fact, half the engineers are afraid of half the marketing people. No, that's really interesting. Do you have your own stream, Tinnerus? I might do quite a lot of automation stuff once I've got a couple of products out. One of the reasons to do this is like it's going to be something really quick to build and deploy. So once that's done, oh, okay. I thought I had a freeze here, but obviously not. Okay, in fact, that freeze is going to be a typed. We may as well type it as a float. In fact, overdrive should be typed as a float as well. And these should be typed as well. Okay. So what I'm going to say is that when you get hit by a freeze, we just increase your freeze value. And let's clamp it between no, you know what? Let's not even worry. Let's just set it to 20. Okay, and then whenever we integrate forces, I think the other thing we want to do is we want to bring the overdrive down to 0. So yeah, we also want to put your overdrive down to 0, and you know what? We will say your modulate dot b is equal to 1.0. So that's going to make you blue. Whoops. Wait. We'll say your RGB equals blue. And let's jump up here and create a const. In fact, we'll call this freeze or color freeze, or color frozen. I think maybe it makes more sense. Color frozen, and that is going to be a color with a no red, no green, and all of the blue. Okay, and let's copy that and throw that back down here. Okay, so when you get frozen, we set your color to frozen, and then we start a we could start a timer instead, but I think it's probably easier just to do it. It's probably more for performance to just do it here. Okay, well, let me know when you start streaming again, and I'll definitely be keen to check out. Is anyone keen to see the Gamescom event tonight? I think there's going to be like a PlayStation 5 announcement, a couple of other cool things. Let's put this up here. Okay, so now we've got a freeze value and we're going to turn blue. And now what we want to do is, I think every frame, because we don't, so we say if freeze is greater than 0, then freeze minus equals the delta, right? And we can get rid of that underscore. Okay, and maybe we need another constant. You can see these constants are coming up, building up. So let's just put it down here. Actually, it's an export. So we'll export this and say the integer, it will be float. So we'll say default freeze amount, and we'll just put that at like a 20, right? And so instead of sticking that random variable there, we'll put it here. Sweet. What are you complaining about? RGB. Modulate. Dot. Oh. Yeah, it is a color, so we can set it equal, right? Okay, so we set the color to color frozen, we set our freeze amount, and we set our overdrive to 0. Now we just need a way to reduce our freeze, and that is going to happen in our process on every frame. So we're just going to say freeze is greater than 0, reduce it, elif, okay, hold on. If freeze is not equal to null, and then if freeze else. I think, yeah, and then elif freeze is less than 0, then freeze equals, we'll just say like unfreeze, right? And then we'll just, I think we'll just do freeze and unfreeze as separate functions here. Func. So unfreeze here. So the reason why is I imagine there are going to be other places in the code where we want to unfreeze. Freeze equals null, and modulate equals, is there just like a color dot something like white dot white? We'll say default, color default, right? Okay, what are you complaining about? Freeze amount. Okay, and then we rename that variable, I guess. Freeze amount. Okay, and then we just got to put our default, our color default, right? Oh, our color default is actually the color of our jets. So let's just change that to color unfrozen. Amount, freeze amount, and freeze amount, and then this is okay. And we'll say color frozen. And then this, we need to remove the typing from the freeze amount. Okay, so we can now set it to null, and in fact we will set it to null by default. Okay. and now we have a way for our... In fact, I think that's going to be a little bit like that. So now we need to figure out propel. Maybe we can just remove the propel, or set engines. So we just say like set engines. Engines are always false if you're frozen, right? Not controls return if freeze amount is not equal to null and freeze amount is greater than 0, right? Then left engine, let me say else here. Left engine equals right engine equals false. Cool. All right. So basically, does that work in Godot? Nope, probably not. That's fine. Okay. So essentially, if you're frozen, you can't use your engines, and you go blue, which is obviously the worst thing to happen. Okay, so let's see if we can make our player go blue. We shoot him with an icicle. Alright, something crashed. Hit. On body entered. Body.hit. I think what we have to say is if body dot is in group, and say the players group, then we body.hit, and then we need to make sure we have our const players group equals players. Alright, so we only try and hit things, we only try and apply the weapons effect when we've hit a player. Otherwise, like, we don't want to try and freeze the wall, we don't want to try and freeze a star, although that could be fun later on. Okay, so let's whack him with a freeze. He's gone blue, and he can't do anything. And now he's gone invisible. And for some reason, I just managed to freeze myself and also go invisible. I have no idea what just happened. Okay, so the default color hold on. Let's have a look at this color class. 0 to 1. Oh, that's why it's going so weird. Okay, so really what we care about is maybe a 0.3, 0.3, 0.3, and we'll say 1.0. Seven. Fix all of our colors now, we may as well. 1.0. And let's just use floats where we're using floats to be correct. Okay, and then that's just going to be like maybe like a 0.8 and a 1.0. And then this is just going to be